Hello, class. Today I'm going to talk about what I learned in the acting out cycle on the Iris Center website. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about the importance of the comprehensive behavior plan, how you need to know that each child is unique. We'll go over the acting out cycle and, of course, the conclusion and references. A comprehensive behavior plan is something that each teacher needs to develop each year for each classroom. It sets out the expectations and consequences. It sets the baseline for classroom management. It is customized for each classroom and each school and each year because cultures and time and school all have influences on behavior. For example, as we return to school, our comprehensive behavior plans could be different due to COVID. Having a comprehensive behavior plan in place increases the academic success of your students. It limits distractions. It decreases your amount of stress. And it does work for most people, for most children. However, every child is unique. Not all students learn the same way. Not all students respond to rules in the same way, and different students come to school with different baggage. As the teacher, you need to learn what each of those students need in order to be calm. You can do this by observing them, by understanding their background, and helping where you can. The acting out cycle chronicles the pattern of behavior that a student goes through as they act out. Most of the time, we need to be in the calm cycle. At this time, everything's going fine, everybody's responding to you, but at some point, there's a trigger. Something sets somebody off, and then people become agitated. The particular student that's following this track becomes agitated. Their agitation accelerates, and this period takes longer. This is where you have a lot of opportunities, if you haven't already nipped it in the bud, to kind of stop this cycle. If you haven't been able to stop the cycle, they're going to reach the peak where they're truly acting out and being offensive with rude comments or violent, throwing things, striking students. Then there is the de-escalation phase where the kid is kind of calming down, and then we enter the recovery. This is when everyone can learn from one another. We'll go through each phase of this cycle. In the calm phase, according to the Iris Center website, the children are goal-directed, they're compliant, they're cooperative, and academically engaged. Students are responsive to teacher praise and are receptive to working with their peers. So they're listening to you, they're interested in what you have to say, and they're working together. The teacher can create the best classroom environment and individual attention when they create calm. Unfortunately, the calm of the student isn't fully in the teacher's control. All children are going to come to school with different problems. They could have triggers outside of school when they arrive upset. They are carrying different levels of stress that we can only imagine. So you need to be able to get to know your students to help them to have a productive day and treat those triggers promptly. Children could be going through a family divorce. They could arrive at school hungry. Maybe they have medical problems or there's drug use in the home. Any of these things that you know about and you can deal with your student is going to avoid them having more problems in the classroom. Perhaps you give them something to eat when they arrive at school. Now, there are triggers, of course, in school. There are common triggers that you as an educator should be aware of. Common triggers include transitions and schedule changes, changes throughout the day. If you know that these changes are going to occur, you need to communicate them to your students in advance and plan around them. Also, by observing your students,